Please welcome our last speaker in our series on socialism, Mercedes Schlapp.
Good morning, CPAC. Are you ready? I have two words for you. Socialism sucks. We are not going to allow the socialism ideology to take over America. We have to stop it in its tracks. I will tell you, we live in the greatest country in the world. And you know who understands that better than anyone else? President Donald J. Trump. But let's remember this. Our democracy is fragile. Our democracy is so dear to all of us. Our freedoms are fragile. And what we have seen in history is that those freedoms can be swiftly taken away from the individual. We've seen it in country after country. The latest victim, Venezuela, where you had one of the wealthiest nations in Latin America turn over their rights to these thugs, these dictators, Hugo Chavez, Nicolás Maduro, and they came in, took over the oil industry, nationalized it, basically destroyed their booming economy, and now you have nearly 1 in 3 Venezuelans suffering from starvation. It's a quick change in just a few decades. We witnessed this in Cuba over 50 years ago, where you had Fidel Castro come in and promise all these great things. Free this, free that. It turned out to be a nightmare for so many Cubans. And I will tell you, as you all know, I have my parents who came here from Cuba, who left the Castro regime, but before they fled to come to this great country, it was my father, who's with us today, Jose Viana, and his wife, Maria Viana, who, like many of you in Cuba, built his life. He had big dreams. He actually wanted to go into government and do public service, but in the meantime, he was building his businesses. He met my beautiful mother, and he had big, big dreams in Cuba. And they were shattered when the dictatorship came into power. And my father had two choices: follow along the track and support the government, or fight. He fought. And it came with a very big price. He was thrown into jail for 6 years, tortured, watched his friends executed, and it was a very scary time for my family. His sister, his brother, they were also intimidated by the government because the neighbors would constantly watch to see if anyone was out of line. Freedom was dead in Cuba. But he didn't give up. He knew he had to fight because his wife was now in America and waiting for him. And after many love letters sent between the two of them, they finally reunited. He was free. And I will tell you something, my father knew from day one that when Donald J. Trump came down that escalator, that he would be president of the United States, and he said, "This man stands for freedom. President Trump stands against communism and socialism." And I will tell you, President Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, go down that list, the squad. They love Castro. They praise their literacy program and their healthcare system, and they really do believe that Cuba and Castro and that regime, now with the new president there, is really great. It's not great when these children are reading the Communist Manifesto. And I will tell you, our founding fathers sacrificed their lives to make sure that we had our freedoms, our God-given rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it doesn't stop with the American Revolution or World War I or World War II or Vietnam War or the Korean War. It doesn't stop. Our democracy and freedom is under threat. They are under threat. And we have an obligation to save America from this horrible ideology of socialism, because we know that socialism leads to communism. It leads to taking away your individual rights. Karl Marx said that the religion is the sight of the oppressed creature. These Democrats don't like religion. They don't like us teaching our children about our great American values. Their values are not our values. We stand for faith. We stand for family. We stand for country. And that is what President Trump does every day when he stands against the fake news, when he stands against these Democrats who are trying to take him down, and when he stands against socialism in America. And so I ask each and every one of you, just like my father and my mother did, do not be silent, because the socialists, they want you to be silent. They want to intimidate you. Do not stand down. You fight, you speak up boldly, and you protect our freedom, our democracy, and protect our great nation and fight for our great nation, because Donald Trump has your back. God bless you, and God bless America.